Welcome everybody to the first ever filming live stream of Basement Baller Podcast. So this is our first attempt of filming Basement Baller Podcast live on Twitch. If you guys are here, that means you probably watched our content or at least a little bit to know that we are a football podcast channel. So we talk a lot about football, we talk a lot about Premier League mainly. But this week we're going to be talking about Champions League because the first legs of the semifinals have started. So usually you guys are used to seeing my cousin Brahim as our co-host, but that brother's on vacation. So we brought in a special guest co-host, my brother Muhammad over here. So how about you introduce yourself, Muhammad?
How's it going? Thank you, Basement Ballers Spot, for having me today. Big shoes to fill in since Ibby's not here. But it's a privilege, and I appreciate the opportunity to hop on here and discuss my perspective on footy, Premier League, Champions League. I'm excited. I love footy. I love watching pundits analyze gameplays and stats and stuff. So I feel like this is gonna be fun.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, fun. And you guys, viewers, you gotta let us know if you like Muhammad, because if you like Muhammad, then we gotta get Muhammad back here. You know, we gotta force him.
For sure.
I'm sure he's gonna love it. So, but yeah.
For sure.
So what teams do you support, Muhammad?
So Barcelona is my team, and then within every league there has to be a team that you support. Mm-hmm. So from La Liga we have Premier League, and I support Liverpool. And then the other leagues I'll support I'm much more of a neutral fan when it comes to the other leagues, but it's Barcelona number 1, Liverpool number 2, and a lot of people call me, they try to critique me for supporting Liverpool because I'm still a neutral fan in a way in the Premier League, if that makes sense. Yeah. So like sometimes there's two teams playing, Man U and another team. Man U is a Liverpool rival. However, I'll still support, or like I'll be happy for Man U in certain instances, let's say. So yeah, those are my teams.
That's fair, because I feel like I'm kind of like that with La Liga, because I don't really have a horse in that race. I just appreciate watching football. I appreciate just watching those teams. I appreciate watching the Clásico especially. Brahim is obviously a Barcelona fan, so it's extra fun to see his team lose, but that's not because I hate Barcelona or anything. That's just what it is, right? But for Premier League, yeah, for me it's like I can appreciate Arsenal. I don't really have any kind of like beef against Arsenal. I think because we're Canadians, we also don't feel that kind of rivalry that they feel. So they have hatred, bro. Like, you know, you're an Arsenal fan, you hate Tottenham, you hate Chelsea, right?
Exactly. And I'd like to feel that emotion, because the culture is beautiful. The rivalry culture is beautiful. Mm-hmm. If it's sometimes it can be violent, sometimes it can be aggressive, and there's negative effects. But that's just the Canadian in us, you know. We're just nice. Like we have the CPL, for example, and you know, I would love for Atletico Ottawa fans to, you know, have that fierce like rivalry towards other clubs. But it's not there yet, but I think it's developing.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think we get a lot more competitive when it comes to things like hockey and things like that. But I hope that we can start building the football scene here in Canada, make it a little bit more competitive, a little bit more like entertaining to watch and be a part of, like, you know, within your community. So that's great. Obviously, first topic that we always talk about on this podcast is Premier League. This stream will be no different. We're going to talk about Premier League, but there were a lot of games. We're not going to be able to cover every single game, but we wanted to cover some of the main points, and the main point this week was it's a top 4 battle. It's really heating up. Man United is looking shaky. What do you think about the Man United?
It's an interesting season. It's always an interesting season. EPL, you know, most entertaining league in the world, and it's definitely, there's a lot of things we see this season that we've never seen before, but we kind of anticipated. For a bunch of things, like for example Newcastle with the new ownership, you expected them to, you know, do better, but did you expect them top 4?
No.
Some yes, some no. Some can argue yes. with Eddie Howe coming into the club. He has a history with Bournemouth. Is it Bournemouth? He was successful with Bournemouth. He brought a culture to the club. He brought intensity to the club and improved it. And Liverpool, you never expected Liverpool to be struggling in that fifth, sixth, seventh part of the table, right? Man City, always expecting them to be up top. And then Arsenal, they were first place for 200-something days, right? Was it? Or 100-something days?
They were comfortably up there for a while until recently where they blundered a little bit, right?
Exactly. And then Man U, it's the same story, in my opinion. Every single year is the same. They're always in the top 5 in the Premier League table, and one season second, one season fourth, another season third, but never really contending for that title.
Facts. No, it's true, man. It's true, and they have struggled. They have had some success under Ten Hag, which is rightfully so inflated some of their egos. But the question is now whether or not Man United can really hang tight, because they have been shaky against teams like West Ham and against teams like Brighton. Obviously, losing to Brighton in a very unfortunate fashion, right? But we do know that Man United has an amazing home record. And the last 3 of their 4 games are home, right? And I think they got Wolves, is it home? I'm trying to remember. I know they're playing Bournemouth away is their only away fixture.
So they've got Wolves, they've got Bournemouth, and they have Chelsea also in Fulham.
Yeah. Now, Chelsea at Old Trafford is likely to go in Man United's favor given Chelsea's current form. However, Chelsea is one of those really weird teams where you don't know when these brothers are going to turn up, you know what I mean? And it might just take that one really competitive atmosphere, that really competitive game to allow Chelsea players to really come into their own and fight, because the talent's there for Chelsea, right? They could really cause some trouble for Man United, especially considering Man United might be fighting a bit of a loss of identity in the last couple of games, right? So
for me, this slightly reminisces the 16-17 season when Leicester won the league. And Chelsea came in and they had tied with Tottenham. It's a similar dynamic but different, because Tottenham was potentially had a chance to win the title, I guess. But it's kind of reminiscing that. And when you look at the dynamic of the situation, having that there's 3-4 games left in the season, Chelsea have nothing to lose, and they'll do whatever it takes to bring down a rival, like in the top 6, right? Like Man U, like Liverpool, like whomever they're going to play in the next couple games, right? So it's hard to say that Chelsea won't turn up at Man U at Old Trafford, because they definitely can do something.
Yeah, no, they definitely can. And it's for Chelsea, it's more of a battle of pride here, because they're not really going to progress any sort of meaningful way in the Premier League table, right?
Exactly.
But pride is on the line, right? Because they're facing a rival. So, and Man United is what I would say you're playing a team that's under pressure. Chelsea's not under pressure, nothing. We already know Chelsea's season is kind of we're putting it away. We're not really thinking about it. So they have no pressure. They can go out and they can try their best, and whatever happens for them, right? But yeah.
And that makes the biggest difference. That's what makes the whole thing different, right? And it's going to be an interesting couple weeks, and especially with the delay of the Champions League final also, which we'll talk about later. But everything is just crammed because of the World Cup, It's going to be a super entertaining next 3-4 weeks to a month.
It's very true. And the other sort of portion of that top 4 battle is between Manchester City and Arsenal, right? Now, people have basically written Arsenal off, right? They're saying it's done. You guys had a chance. You guys bottled that chance. Some people calling it the biggest bottle in Premier League history. I don't think I agree with that, right? Because I would consider the biggest bottle to be from a team you expect the most from. Right. But I think because of the way that Arsenal fans are, just their nature, people like to rag on them, and I think they're looking for an opportunity to rag on them in this case, right? But because Arsenal wasn't really expected to be here, could we really call it the biggest bottle in Premier League history? I don't think we can. However, listen, Man City is playing some pretty tough games in the next couple of weeks, right? And their focus, in my opinion, really seems to be on that like Champions League, matchup with Madrid, right? Which obviously we'll get to later. But would you think that sort of pressure or that sort of like redirection of focus could give Arsenal the chance to kind of, edge Man City in the Premier League title race?
When you compare the two clubs, looking at Man City, considering the experience that they have, the situations that they've been in, the squad that they have, the depth that they have, it's hard for them to slip up, in my opinion. And I know that Arsenal fans hate when others call it the biggest bottle in history. I don't think that's the case either. I think that nobody really expected Arsenal to be up top for that long either. And then when you set such a high standard from mid-season, it's tough to face bottling it. It's tough to face that. But then when you look at Man City, man, they've done this before. They've won the league many times. They've been in a Champions League final before. They're in an FA Cup final before. It's like it's been built up. Every year we talk about Man City winning the treble, let's say. Maybe this is that year. It's just built up from the first year until now. One season they lose a final somehow, somewhere. They'll win 2 domestic trophies but miss out on Champions League final, or somewhere in the Champions League tournament, or vice versa. But now it's like this is the chance that they have. It's in their hands,
No, that's true. And do you think that kind of could get to them in terms of pressure? Because I feel like Madrid is the first team in a while to really make Manchester City bleed. And obviously it was just a draw in that first leg, but could that be like a potential like exposing of some of Man City's weaknesses, right?
It could. And then when you look at Arsenal's next couple of games, who are they playing? They're playing Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and Wolves, eh? So 2 of them at home. Those are going to be difficult games because of the pressure, because they have to get all 9 points. They don't have a choice but to get all 9 points. And then when you look at City, they could be fatigued. They could fold maybe, but again, they just have this like crazy mentality within the club, like from Guardiola to the players, the leadership they have, the experience they have. I don't think they can slip up the league. To be fair, I don't think so. Champions League, another story, but in terms of the league, I think they're going to go at it, and I think they'll do it again. Look what they did last season against Aston Villa, last game of the season against Aston Villa. Crazy, man. Crazy.
No, it's true, man. And I feel like with Pep is a bit of a psycho in a way. Like he's just a bit of a madman in terms of how brilliant he is, right? It seems like sometimes every year this brother creates new problems for his team to face and to overcome, right? Like, I mean, this year I think one of the biggest things was like, hey, Arsenal, I'm going to give you Jesus and Zinchenko, and not only that, on top of that, I'm gonna get rid of Cancelo, right? I'm gonna loan him out, and watch what we're still gonna beat your ass, right? So yeah, he's just proving why he's honestly, like, I think when it's all said and done, this brother's proving that he will go down as the best manager of all time.
And I hate the argument of oil club or money or this or that. You can't say that. Man United have spent more money than Man City. That's hard to believe, but that's the case. Man United has spent more money than Man City past 5-6 seasons, and nowhere near have they achieved what Man City has achieved. So Guardiola, man, in my opinion, like just top manager, will go down in history. Level like with that level of like Sir Alex, easily, in my opinion.
Easy, right?
And don't forget that the league changed, the league evolved. When Sir Alex, won how much ever premierships, was it 13 premierships or something? Back then is different. To win the amount of premierships that Guardiola won with City, crazy impressive, crazy.
Yeah. No, it is very crazy, and I mean, obviously, like you could definitely give props to City's owners because you could see how like money doesn't buy everything. Chelsea didn't. With Chelsea, money didn't buy everything. With BG, money didn't buy everything. Like obviously, you can say, oh, Chelsea had a manager issue, whatever, but it goes up to the top, right? With, what's his name? What's
For whom?
For Chelsea.
Todd?
Yeah, Todd Bowley. Yeah, Todd Bowley.
Yeah.
So, like, you could see how, like, owners play a big role, right? I feel like owners are also really, like, if they allow themselves to be, they can be really influenced by good managers, and Pep has been able to influence that sort of ownership to play the game as he wants it, right? So
yeah, they give him some level of autonomy, you know, to, like, make certain decisions. And one thing about Pep is that he stands his ground. He doesn't really put a player ahead, and you can see that because when you look at City for the past couple of years, they've been able to rotate their squad a lot. You know, one day he'll play Foden, one day he'll play Mahrez, one day he'll play this guy, one day he'll play another guy. Winning the league without like a lethal striker like Haaland, for example. Well, that's what they were missing. They were missing that number 9. Yes, they had Jesus, but like the way he's able to utilize every single player in that squad is impressive, and it speaks on the quality of the manager, to the owners, to the culture within the club, to how things run. And look at him, man. Like, you think City is not going to be a title contender next season again? Like, for the next couple of years, I think they have something coming.
Right. And he's also like I think managers need to learn from this brother, because they understand that, like, Pep is never happy, never satisfied. He scores a goal, he's still yelling at his players to do something different, you know what I mean? Because he notices the flaws despite the successes that they have, right? I think managers should really take a note from that page. And basically, I guess we could sum it up by saying, we don't think that Pep, given his quality as a manager, we don't think that Pep will falter enough to give Arsenal that way to go through. And I think that you're very spot on with what you said. I think Man City will win the Premier League title, and that'll be the first piece of their treble pursuits, right?
Yeah.
So now I did want to like quickly touch on a relegation battle before we go into Man United, because I did want to play a bit of a keep or sell with Man United squad. Hopefully get your opinion on that squad and see what we're gonna say. And then obviously you guys in the chat, shout outs to you 5 viewers that are watching us. We really appreciate you guys. If you guys are liking the live stream so far, let us know, get involved. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about relegation right now. So a couple weeks ago, it was looking like 9 or 10 teams were kind of in that like danger zone, right? It's really shrunken down to about 5 teams. We got Everton, we got Forest, we got Leicester, we got Leeds, and we got Southampton. I'm pretty sure Everton and Forest are just right outside that bracket. I think they're 17th and 16th or
16th. Yeah.
Right. But then Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton, those brothers are down there. Southampton being the team that I feel like everyone can agree is just basically cooked.
Yeah.
You know, despite having pretty solid performances in some occasions against Arsenal, performance, whatever, for whatever reason, they just can't get the job done. And for that reason, I think that they're pretty much go down. They're about to get relegated. That's this team that has really surprised me, I feel, is Leicester. I think on paper has the quality to stay up. But, I think firing Brendan Rodgers as late as they had may have really affected even they didn't have chemistry while under Brendan Rodgers this season, really. I mean, they were still losing. But I think when you change managers so quickly and in the middle of a season, you really set yourself up for failure. And I think that's what happened. They're really spiraling here. So what do you...
I think there's levels to it in terms of management. When you look at Brendan Rodgers, man won them... FA Cup, was it FA Cup last season they won?
I mean, he was also the manager for their Premier League title win, back in 2015, 2016, right?
Brendan Rodgers?
I'm pretty sure, no?
No, that was Ranieri.
Was it?
Yeah, that was Ranieri. Brendan Rodgers came into the club like 2-3 seasons ago.
Okay, yeah. Maybe, yeah. You're right, I think so.
And so he won them an FA Cup last year. Who won the FA Cup last year? Wasn't it Leicester?
No, that was Liverpool.
or the year before. They won a cup last year, Leicester. It was maybe Community Shield, something. They won a cup, domestic cup. And so, considering that, they won their first. They won in 2021.
Yes. Yeah.
They won FA Cup. So when you have a manager that's won you FA Cup, and then 2 years down the line you're fighting in a relegation battle, or you're like mid-table or like below mid-table, sacking him mid-season, that calls for the downfall of a team. So they're going to really, really struggle to get out of the relegation zone. However, there's quality within that team, so I think they'll come through and show up for that. But again, sacking a manager like Brendan Rodgers mid-season, I don't think that was a good move. However, there are things that go on within that we don't know about.
That's true.
So that's a point to bring up. Nottingham Forest, from the beginning of the season, I saw them destined to, not succeeding because of the splurge of unnecessary signings and like giving high wages to like Jesse Lingard, for example, but he makes 250 pounds a week, £1,000 a week or something. That's not really the guy that you want to bring to keep you up. Let's be honest.
True. No, because he wasn't very successful at United, right? So.
And you have to understand the player.
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard, he's just. I don't want to say any bad words about him because he played very well with West Ham when he was on loan, but he's kind of like a goof in a way, just
exactly.
It doesn't take shit seriously.
He spends too much time on podcasts and streams.
For example, I used to be on Snapchat, and this guy would pop up on my Snapchat feed. I never even followed him or anything. He just popped up there.
So, brother,
bro, he's in the gym.
Shouldn't he be training?
He's in the gym and he's training, but he has to show everything. He's showing when he goes shopping, when he's eating, bro, I feel like that's weak, man. You can't be doing that. That's not professional.
I see what you're saying, though. And also, Keylor Navas is obviously all-time world-class goalie, right? But again, it's just one of those weird signings. I don't really understand the vision behind it. But yeah, again, Forest, didn't they just beat Southampton?
They've lost their last 2 games.
Did they?
Yeah, they lost their last 2 games.
It was.
To be honest, for me, it's going to be.
Yeah.
Southampton.
Just beat Forest recently.
Oh, really? They did?
Not they just beat Southampton recently. Yeah, 4-3.
Okay.
Yeah.
For me, Southampton, as you said, in the dust.
Yeah.
I think Nottingham Forest could get relegated, and I just have this feeling that Leicester City could, pull through this. And Everton, it's risky. It's between Everton and Leeds for me, because last season they were both in the same position. Just made it out from relegation, both of them. So it's a tough one for me. It's either going to be Southampton, Forest, and between Leeds and Everton. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah. Everton has one of the things that's kind of in Everton's favor at the moment is that they just come off a really good result off of Brighton. They spanked their ass. And that might be the confidence they need to push through and build on that, especially because Brighton has had an amazing season, right? They're one of those teams. They're like an Aston Villa, like a team that you didn't expect to be where they are, but they are. They had some players really come through that have shown really world-class qualities, right? McAllister and all those things, and then they managed to not only beat them, but basically humiliate them, right? And I'm pretty sure they were playing at Brighton Stadium, so.
Yeah.
Everton could use that. They could use that as a momentum builder.
But again, look who's Everton. Look who Everton is playing. They're playing Man City. They're playing Wolves, and they're playing Bournemouth. Three solid teams, to be fair.
Solid, yeah. Bournemouth is actually, honestly, another one of those surprising teams. I thought Bournemouth
one of those teams.
Those bottom teams, you know.
100%. It's one of those teams this season that they're in they're 14th place, but like they'll win here and there, you know. They'll show up certain games.
Mm-hmm. No, they will, right? And I feel like Gary O'Neill has done a really good job with that squad because, like, I feel like is one of those yo-yo clubs, keeps coming into the Premier League, going back down. But this season they've managed to stay up, and so fair play to them. They've got pretty good results against both Tottenham and Liverpool this season, so they definitely deserve to be up here. And so yeah, I guess this is just three more games for each of those bottom teams, I think.
Yeah, 3 more games. Yeah, exactly. 3 more games. So tough one.
Yeah, it's or die for these brothers.
For sure.
But yeah, you guys let us know what you guys think about the relegation battle, who you guys think are going to go down, and we're going to be moving on now to Manchester United, focusing on that squad, playing a nice game of keep or sell with some of their key pieces, right? So I'll start off by saying mine, and then you can go say yours.
Sure.
Go position by position, right? So starting off with goalkeeper, this is a big topic. Everybody's been focusing on De Gea because I feel like I don't want to say single-handedly made them lose to West Ham, but I mean it was a pretty big blunder on his part for that goal that they scored, right? So in my opinion, De Gea is a major sell. You got to get rid of that brother.
Interesting.
What do you think?
For me, I think you need to keep him until you find a solid replacement that's going to commit to the club, because you have to consider what De Gea served the club, and also there are those seasons where De Gea really showed up and saved the club just as much. So, you know, he's been there for a while. He understands the club. He's like a figure in the club. So there's a bigger effect to selling him. And I don't think that now is the time to sell De Gea. I think that he's got a couple more years in him, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I think. I think keep De Gea.
That's a fair point. I did read, I think on Twitter it was today, that Man United, and this could be like, you know, just like anecdotal, but like Man United was potentially eyeing up Emi Martinez because Emi Martinez made it clear that he was interested in moving on from Aston Villa. Now Emi Martinez is a interesting goalkeeper. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. Do I think that he's been a little bit overhyped based on his World Cup performance? I do.
I disagree.
You think he's dog?
I think he's that dog. Like, I really like that guy, and maybe it's biased though. Like, you know, being a Messi fan and him supporting Messi. Maybe that's why I like him. Maybe it's an emotional thing, but I think he's a beast, man. I think he's a beast personally. But yeah,
he was like arguably the third. I don't want to say second, but like maybe the third or fourth best player on that squad that won the World Cup. Because without him, they wouldn't have won, right? Like he has to make that crucial save in late last few minutes of that France game. You know.
Bro, after Messi, it's him, and for me.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, like oh, bro, come on, like World Cup, the penalties that he saved, that last save in that World Cup final, that just does everything. That got them the World Cup when you think about it.
It exactly did.
So yeah, that's. Yeah. But yeah, we're going off topic now because
exactly. Argentina now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mohammed says De Gea keep. I say De Gea sell. Now on to their right back. Their right back that has really come into himself this season, Wan-Bissaka. I think he's a major keep. He is that brother that you really like. First of all, like I've been listening to a couple of interviews from this brother. He seems really humble. He seems like he's just a hardworking kind of player. That's the guy you want to keep, especially because he's really found himself some good form. He's the kind of guy you'd want to keep, I would say.
I agree. Especially him being like an Englishman. You need those guys in your squad in the EPL. You know, so you need a couple Englishmen that can develop, and he has the potential to develop. Maybe he's been inconsistent past couple of years, but I think you should keep on Bissaka and help him develop.
I would say that the past couple of years, maybe he just wasn't given the fair opportunity. I think this year Ten Hag has given him a chance and said, and he's proven himself, right? So all respects to him, honestly. But like, I don't know if I would compare him to like some of the greatest right backs in the Premier League. But he has potential. I can see it.
Yeah.
He's a defensive right back, more traditional. He does.
He's a little bit shaky on the ball sometimes, but defensively,
he's
very, very good. He's like call him like the spider or something because he has long ass legs.
Fuck, bro, no, he's pocketed a couple of greats, you know.
Against Barcelona, man, he showed up, man. He played really well.
Yeah.
Against Barca.
Barca against Brighton in the FA Cup, like, nah, he's definitely got potential. I'm excited to see what he does next year.
Sure.
Center backs. Okay. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the center backs that have been injured, because those are their main center backs. Those are the center backs that are of concern. So we have Varane first. For me, Varane is, man, this is a tough one because, you know, he's good for leadership. You know, that brother's really good for, and he's obviously like still a really solid center back. He's shown that this year. And my opinion is if there's not an immediate like replacement, you keep him. You know what I mean? Like if you can't really think of like an immediate replacement, you would keep him. Right? So that's my opinion on Varane.
When you have Maguire, you'd put Varane over Maguire
easily.
But for me, Varane, I feel like he's too
he's done.
He's very injury prone. He's sometimes he's on, sometimes he has good performance, like world class performance that you compare to when he plays for France or played for Madrid. But then there are days that not really the case. So I would sell, in my opinion. I would sell, and yeah.
Fair point. Now Martinez is I think we both can agree, easy keep.
100%.
To the team, everyone thought he was too short. He's like, all right, I am short, but I still got what it takes to be a solid center back. He's been their best center back this season. Even before his injury, I would say even in contention for like best 11 center backs in the Premier League, you know. The Gabriel's up there with the Salibas, with the Stones, the Diaz's, you know what I mean? So he was really like putting a stamp on Man United, and I think that they were really missing him right now, you know what I mean?
I agree. And it's his first season with Man U, right? So he's got a lot to show, so definitely can't sell that guy now, especially him having a World Cup. His value's up, and you want to kind of hold on to that and use his confidence. Unfortunately, he's injured, but use that confidence to put into the team. For Man U, that's important.
100%, brother. All right, left back, we got Luke Shaw, who I've recently learned is Muslim. And
no idea.
He's
okay. Now we gotta keep him.
Keep him. Yeah. It might be haram to sell.
You gotta keep the Muslim influence in the squad, you know.
Yeah, for sure, brother. But yeah, like I mean, he's Muslim. You know, maybe because of his recent conversion, he's developed some kind of like extra otherworldly powers that have made him really solid this year for Man United, honestly, and not just in left back position, but also as a replacement center back, right? That's how bad Maguire has been. Maguire's been so bad that Ten Hag's like, bro, I'd rather put Luke Shaw as center back than have Maguire here, right?
That's crazy. Maguire is a whole different, like it's its own conversation.
Yeah, Maguire is get rid of that brother. So honestly,
as soon as possible.
Yeah, get rid of him. But yeah, so we got but sometimes we do see players like Malacia, players like Dalot playing on that left back. I think Dalot is an easy keep. Right, he's still young. He's got a lot of promise. Even Ronaldo talks highly of him in terms of his work ethic. So I think you keep Dalot.
I agree.
Yeah, but then Malacia is a bit tough. I think Malacia is keep if you have to, but sell if there's a room to, you know, just get some cash back for Man United or whatever. But
I mean, Malacia is one of those guys that you could throw on loan. True. For a year when you have like a stacked when you have a stacked amount of players in one position. But like Dalot's good. Luke Shaw, he's like, you don't want to get rid of the veterans, you know.
No, facts.
At the same time, and Luke Shaw's a veteran, and you got to keep him so that he can he can give off the leadership or the new role to somebody else. May that be Dalot, which I believe that he is fit for that position. But you know, this guy's Dutch, so Malassia's Dutch, so like he might be in Ten Hag's plan better for his system better.
Fair. I feel like also Dalot has like been quite the threat offensively, which is nice, especially for like the modern day right back or the modern day fullback. It's important to have that quality in you, and he's also pretty solid in the back. So, yeah. Anyway, midfield, it's time. First off, we're starting off with Casemiro, who started off the season very strong. Like, wow, amazing. Ever since I want to say he got that red card and he had that like 4-game suspension, he came back a little bit shaky, just a little bit, like his passes were a little off. Overall, he was a little shaky. But Casemiro's a keep. Like, you don't give up on the brother after, you know, a few like bad games, right?
Yeah. Like, you keep him for a couple seasons, and then, you know, just to stabilize the club a little bit, and then, you know, he's not there forever. You know, he's just there for a couple years to help maintain the club shape while they rebuild, because this is Ten Hag's rebuilding phase, you know.
And not just that, like these brothers might be bought out by Qatari owners, right? So
easy,
right? So yeah. So now we got midfield. This is basically, I want to say, where Man United have a lot of players that could potentially fit. But we're gonna start off with Bruno. Bruno is, in my opinion, like the heart of the team. He's the heart of the team, the kind of player that you love to have on your team but hate playing against, right? Bruno's an easy keep, in my opinion.
Yeah, to be honest, he definitely a keep for Man U. I'm not a big fan of Bruno Fernandes, because I just feel like he's a pussy sometimes. Like, he just cries and whines a lot.
Yeah, he is.
But and that pisses me off. I just don't like that. You know, I don't like that character trait. But he's definitely a key for Man U. So keep for sure.
Yeah, and ever since Ronaldo left, that brother's been kind of like on top of his game. Like, for whatever.
Fair enough.
He just hated having too many Portuguese people on the team. I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So now we have, I'll group them together because they're kind of similar. So we got Fred and McTominay, who are, I want to say, like replacements for Casemiro, kind of like they're the bench pieces for Casemiro whenever he comes off. I'll say for Fred, keep, McTominay sell or loan out. Because I think McTominay just doesn't want to be there anymore, because I feel like he got so used to that starting role, and ever since Casemiro's come in, he hasn't really had too much opportunity to do that. I think that he might want to leave, and I think if a player already thinking about leaving, it might be a good idea to just kind of like move him on, you know?
Yeah, for sure, I agree. I like McTominay, to be honest. He's massive, you know. He's tall, he's very physical, and this is a guy that plays for the club, technically, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of McTominay. I would keep McTominay and sell Fred if I'm being honest, but you would have to find a fit for him.
True.
But if you can't, then you have to sell. Or if he wants to leave, then you gotta sell.
Yeah, and then our last two like major midfielders are Eriksen and Sabitzer. Now Sabitzer is just on loan, correct? Like he is
on loan.
From who? Who's
from Leipzig or Salzburg?
Yeah, maybe RB Leipzig. I'm pretty sure from RB Leipzig.
Yeah, he loves Man U. Like, he wants to stay.
He wants to stay. He had those what was it, 2 goals against Sevilla, wasn't it, in the Europa League? I mean, he tried his best. Those brothers still didn't win, but I mean, he's definitely a little bit of a light in that midfield for sure. He has a lot of potential, I think. He's somebody you think about maybe bringing over permanently.
You could, yeah, for sure.
Extending the loan, you know. And then Eriksen is a tough one, because
bro, you sell, man, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's again one of those players that come in to help to bring experience and help the club just get on its feet during this phase, and then you sell the brother. That's what I think.
Yeah, Eriksen's tough because he's really good. I really respect this game. I don't know how much I trust to have him kind of stay fit, and be present to play, right? So that's a bit tough for players that are good, but you just when you're a team like Man United, especially next season where they're potentially going to be playing Champions League, and all these other different competitions, you need players that are going to be fit, right? Eriksen's a bit of a tough one. I think, I agree with you. I think we sell Eriksen.
I agree.
Yep. Okay. Now we go on to our forwards. We're going to start off with Rashford on the left. He's mainly been playing on the left in terms of like when he's been kind of like in that groove of success. He's been playing here. Rashford's an easy keep. Like you don't get rid of your basically your star player of the season, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I agree. Plays for the club. One of those guys from the academy. It's hard to get rid of him now.
Fox English.
Yeah, exactly.
He does well for England. Right.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot more to give. So he just needs. I think Man United and ownership needs to start thinking about how we can build a team to make Rashford successful, because I think he's that star for that team. And then another player who plays on the left quite often is Sancho. Now Sancho for me is, I think, you've given him a chance. What is it? It's been like 2 seasons now. No.
Yeah.
I think you either loan him out. Maybe loaning him out would be the better option, or you think about getting rid of him. You think about selling him.
Man, when I see signings that require a lot of money, which was Sancho's case, was there ever a signing that was worth a lot of money that turned out to be successful?
So I remember some of the pundits were talking about this recently, and they said like Virgil, for example. Virgil was signed for what, like 80 million, and he was a success. But the point of that segment was that it's very rare. These 100 million, 80 million signings are really rare to like find success.
And I don't think Sancho was worth that. I feel like Sancho, he was good in Germany, and I don't think he was the guy to... I just never really saw it in him to be the guy to, bring Man U back to its level and score a lot of goals, and I just don't see him so like that. And he's been with the club for 2 seasons. He's been struggling hard, and I feel like something that really killed his confidence was when they signed Ronaldo, because they had signed him. Everybody was saying bring Sancho, and then they brought him, and then once they brought Ronaldo, everybody forgot about him.
Yeah, he became like a really second tier.
Yeah, like it just changed everything. And again, that Ronaldo signing is the past. It's a whole other conversation. But I think Man U are in a good position now, considering what they've been through with Ronaldo. But yeah, for Sancho, I really don't. I would sell. I don't think he's not showing up every single week, man. Like those are the guys that you want to keep, the guys that are showing up and performing every single week. Otherwise, you kind of see the flaw in their ability.
No, it's true, right? And like even when he comes off the bench, which is most of the time, even when he does though, he doesn't really seem to come on and make any kind of impact. Especially because like I feel like you just come on with some fresh legs, maybe you can really like put your stamp on the game. He almost never does, right? So yeah, no, that brother, it's looking a little grim for him.
I agree.
Now right wing, okay. I have obviously Anthony. Anthony's been their star right wing this season. That token 100 million signing that everyone was looking forward to seeing. Now, Anthony, I believe, has star potential. To be honest, I know a lot.
I agree.
But it takes time. Like you got to give a brother time to really get used to a system. Really get used to having. It's a lot of pressure for him coming from a team like with Ajax, right?
Yeah.
To Man United, that's a big jump. You know what I mean? And
true.
Not only that, but you're saying, yeah, I'm worth 100 million, right? Despite
huge,
he does put his imprint on the game a lot of times, right? And sometimes he's unjustly subbed off. I feel like, you know what I mean, because he seems like the only brother that like generates things on offense sometimes, and he gets subbed off, and then like for whatever reason. But I think that's a player obviously you keep, you don't sell. Like there's no way, because you literally just bought him. So, but see how he does next season, and then make your decision based off that, right?
I agree. He has that flair in him. He's entertaining. Like sometimes it's nice as long as you teach a player when is the right time to do certain things, and that comes with maturity. If he can mature properly under Ten Hag, with Man U, I really think that he can develop with the club, and maybe he's one of those signings that, you know, were worth a lot of money and can develop and become a key component to the team. So I would keep.
He's one of the players on Man United that I really like. He's one of my favorite players on Man United.
Yeah.
I'm a Brazil fan, so
but he's a baller. You know, you've seen the goals he scores. He cuts into the middle, shoots. He can shoot. He can dribble. He's quick. Yeah. He's quick, you know, so the quality is there. You know, he's very rapid. He's very lightning-like. So I like it.
Plus, the brother's pretty good on FIFA, so.
Facts.
But all right, so last position, striker. We got two candidates here. We got Weghorst and Martial. Now, Weghorst is send that brother back to wherever he came from. He's not I just think that maybe the jump for him was a little bit too much. I think that he has potential to be good because he was pretty good for Netherlands in the World Cup, I feel.
Yeah.
But I think the jump was just too soon, and a lot to ask for somebody, especially in the middle of a season kind of thing. You know what I mean? But having said that, because Martial is another guy, it's tough for me to say keep, you know, because he's so injury prone. He's somebody who brilliance when he comes on for sure, especially when he's fully healthy. He shows brilliance, right? But he's also injury prone, so you can't really rely on him, right?
So for this one, Weghorst, I would say send him back, but at the same time, he might be the guy to put in the effort and bring in the intensity and bring in the passion, and maybe he's doing that to get the permanent signing, you know, but you could really see that he's putting in effort. And there's been some stats that I saw that, you know, they have benefited from his presence. And then for Martial, it's it's hard to say sell because he's been there for a while, but looking at the situation, they have to find a solution because Weghorst is not a permanent solution and Martial is not a permanent solution either.
No, they need a 9. They need a number 9.
They need a 9. Maybe Harry Kane, you think?
Maybe. Victor Osimhen is another potential candidate, right?
That's a good one.
But who would I sign, man? That's tough. I think because Harry Kane is Premier League proven, because that's the tough thing, right? Some players are good, but they're just not Premier League proven. They're a risk, right? With Harry Kane, that brother's obviously Premier League proven, you know?
Easy for him to, if they were to get a hold of him, I think that would be an excellent signing, in my opinion.
And I think
especially when you have Rashford on one side or Sancho on one side, you know, you have some English, there's some chemistry there, technically.
Yeah, exactly. You know, national teammates, right?
Yeah.
So he would be able to gel, I feel. I mean, listen, I'm not a Man United fan, but if I were a Man United fan, I would imagine that that's the signing that you kind of want to go for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But anyway, that's Premier League. That's what we want to talk about. You guys let us know what you guys think. Obviously, we're going to be uploading this content to YouTube. I'm also going to be shouting out and linking Hamed's IG in the YouTube description so you guys can check him out. That brother does a lot of great things in terms of fitness, personal training, all that. So you check him out. But now we're going to move on to the major topic of this week, which is Champions League. We got 2 semifinal matchups. First one being City versus Madrid. And the second one being AC Milan versus Inter Milan, right? So first off, we're going to talk about City versus Madrid because that was, I feel, it's tough to say that it was the blockbuster matchup given the fact that there was literally a Milan derby, right? But this is the one that everybody tunes into mainly, right? Especially fully, I would say, right? So that game ended 1-1. It's the first leg, obviously played in the Bernabeu. Next week they'll be going back to the Etihad to play the second leg. And it was very back and forth game, right? Madrid seemed to have a bit of a hold on in the beginning. Madrid had a hold on certain parts of the game. Madrid goes up early in the first half. They go up banging goal by Vinicius Jr. Absolutely insane.
Sucks.
And then their back line absolutely silenced Haaland, right? That I didn't really imagine would be the case given I feel like Madrid's performances in La Liga this season. I think they had the capacity to do that to such a prolific striker, but they didn't. Fair play to them, man. These guys are different beasts in the Champions League, right? And then you have in the second half, obviously, absolute banger by De Bruyne to tie it up, and that's just what are your thoughts on the game?
super entertaining game. The intensity, the back and forth, you could really see what's the right word? The desire to win, from both ends. And man, like Madrid made it difficult for City, especially being in the Bernabeu. And for me, what highlights the game is Vinicius, man.
Unreal ball.
But he's like, bro, I'm a Barcelona fan. I hate Madrid, but that guy is a demon. He's actually a demon. He's actually a demon. Like, it's crazy. And I hate that because why can't Barcelona have that guy, right? And then when you look at the Champions League, man, just the experience Madrid has, again, it's like a psychological thing. It's a cultural thing. When it comes to Real Madrid, it's like everybody it's just the atmosphere in the stadium and in the club. It's truly in its DNA, and I hate that, but you have to give credit where it's due, right?
Facts, brother. No, you do.
It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
There's no passion greater than the passion to play for Madrid, right? They're the biggest club in the world for a reason. They're not like, I don't support Madrid to that level, but they are the biggest club, undoubtedly. Nobody can deny that.
No question,
brother. Thank you for tuning in. Madrid is way too good in the Champions League, bro. They're crazy. My volume's low. Okay, 1 second. Let me do a little bit of an adjustment. Let me know how that is. Nasser, what do you think? Is this better? I can obviously edit it and post and increase my volume when we upload it to YouTube. But your volume has been great, Mohammed, right? Mohammed's volume has been great, right, Nasser? All right, well, we're gonna keep it going. But yeah, no, Vinicius Jr. is an absolute insane guy, bro. And his passion to play for the club is something like unmatched, right? Nobody can deny that. And he's one of those players that is like, he'll be, maybe, this is a big maybe, I don't want to jinx this, brother, but he'll be to Madrid what Neymar was to Barca, I feel. Right, just like that same kind of player, with just, I don't know, man, it's crazy.
In a way, yes. But this guy will never switch up on Madrid. This guy is there. This guy's staying there.
Yeah. I know.
I don't like what Neymar did. I just, ever since, I feel like Neymar could have really built a legacy. But then you can look at it from an ownership level, or like the presidency level, like the admin level of things. It was the club's president that was corrupt and ruined a lot of things. But I wouldn't even compare them. Neymar and Vinicius. No, this guy's there. There's nobody. He's never leaving Madrid.
It's exactly what it is, right? Because like with Neymar's situation, some people were saying stuff like, oh, well, he wanted to leave because he wanted to be kind of the guy on the team, whatever, right? I don't know if
that shit pisses me off, man. That shit pisses me off. Like, if that is true, even if that's true, like, buddy, he's not that guy. Like, to go and, what is he going to do? Go and win a couple Ballon d'Ors? The closest chance he had to a Ballon d'Or was when he played alongside Messi.
Agreed. No, and I don't know what it was, man. Maybe it was just a money thing. I don't know, or maybe he was just looking for a new challenge. I don't see how that could be.
Bro, PSG, man, like, it's money, bro. It's money. It's
money.
There's no way around it. Come on, and then that pisses me off as a Barcelona fan.
Yeah, we
had something good going.
Man, Neymar is like third best in this generation, in my opinion, right? But his potential is crazy, man. Like just the fact that we can say he squandered his potential, yet still a lot of people consider him the third best in this generation is crazy, right? Despite that, if Vinicius maintains this current trajectory, man, it's crazy.
He'll surpass him.
I think he might, man, because Neymar wasn't the star of his team, even though he was very close to being the star of his team. But Messi will always be the star of that team, right? But Vinicius is the star of Madrid, right? Yeah. Despite what Benzema is doing, Benzema obviously I would say he was the star last season, but this season Vinicius is the star, and it's not even close, right? A couple years of this, obviously, the sky's the limit for this kid, man.
I agree, and at the end of the day, Benzema is still scoring. Like he's assisting, he's just so lethal, man, on the ball. He's so dangerous. He gave Kyle Walker a very hard time in that first leg, and it's gonna be a super interesting second leg because I think Madrid could easily take it home, and I hate to say that. I really hate it. But
I don't know.
Man City's got to put in a good shift. Man City can win. But they just got to make sure that they're solid from A to Z because Madrid, you can't rule it out that Madrid can take it to the final and win the whole thing once again. And I hate if that happens.
Yeah, no, it would be quite the disappointment from Man City because, to be honest, I would call that a bottle. Even though it's Madrid in the Champions League, I would call that a bottle because not only are you going to your home stadium, basically 0-0. It's 0-0, right? You're Man City, and you have arguably on paper, you have the best team in the world. Right, so it's in their favor. They should put it away. If they don't, they bottled it. It's as simple as that, right? But again, man, we can't discount Madrid. Madrid is the best Champions League team ever. They're the best team ever. Period.
In history, realistically,
right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be scenes next week, bro. It's gonna be absolute scenes. Nessa said Neymar has the charisma, Vinicius doesn't. I don't know about that, man. Vinicius is. I feel like Vinicius is more of like a shithead, like in a way, like he's more like he's like antagonizing in that sense. But Neymar got maybe a little bit more saucy, I would say. But he still like attempted a rainbow flick. You know, he still got like still a crazy dribbler. You know, I don't know.
Damn, like bro, in that space when he pulled that off, I was like. Like at the end of the day, you're doing that against Kyle Walker. Even though he didn't get the ball after that rainbow flick,
right.
Man,
it's crazy. Like just the balls on the man to try it, right?
Insane. And if he pulled that off, that would have been a highlight for the next 50, 60 years.
Yeah, no, exactly, man. That was that game. I wanted to play a quick game with you called Would You Rather. It's a kind of like a variation on like a combined 11, but it's just like I'm going kind of like sections of the field at a time in a way, right?
Okay.
So starting off with goalkeeper, obviously, would you rather have, if you were building a team today, right, who would you rather have your team to basically, let's say, win the Champions League, right? Ederson or Courtois? Courtois, right? Yeah, man. I think
that Liverpool Madrid performance last year's final, he won them the trophy.
Yeah.
He won Madrid the trophy last season.
That's what got him the gold. What was it? The Golden Glove, right? Or like the best keeper in the world, right? Or that's what got it for him. So at the end of the day, I think he's clear. But although I do say that Ederson is underrated, to be honest, because his team is good, that he doesn't get any kind of like spotlight, I guess. But I think he's an underrated goalkeeper for sure.
No, I agree. But I would choose Courtois.
Yeah. Now, would you rather? This is right back now. Would you rather have Walker on your team or Carvajal?
Walker or Carvajal? I would say it depends on the other players, but I would rather Carvajal.
Really? As like a more like an attacking minded or like more of like
I feel like Carvajal is more well-rounded than Walker. It's like Carvajal can pass the ball, he can handle the ball, he can assist. Walker's fast, and that's his best attribute.
Yeah, he can keep up with pacey wingers.
Yeah, exactly. Carvajal, he's a little bit slower, but I feel like he can do more. He has more ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Carvajal.
I think, or even Jack Grealish came after the game and said, bro, my legs have been cramping like nothing I've ever felt. Because, obviously Carvajal was marking him pretty well,
Yeah, and his experience, right? So
I don't know. I don't know if I would agree, though. I think I would take Walker on my team.
Fair enough.
Because, he's, I think, arguably the best right back in the Premier League history, right? He's pocketed a lot of wingers in his time, so but Carvajal,
it's a big statement, bold statement.
Yeah, it is, but you guys
best right back in Premier League history.
I think so, man.
Crazy old.
I think so, man.
Okay, maybe. I mean, I respect your opinion.
Yeah. All right, brother. We're going to center back. We're going to look at pairing, though. So we're not going to just look at one at a time. We're going to go at the pair. So would you rather have Stones and Diaz pairing,
or
the Militao Rudiger pairing? assist?
Tough one. Damn. Stones Diaz.
Yeah, Stones Diaz is a good shout.
It's like a good combo.
It's a good combo for sure. I mean, I think like it's tough because I think Militao is one of the best center backs in the world right now. Like this brother's been having like crazy last couple seasons.
Rudiger too, though.
Rudiger's amazing too.
Beast.
He's a beast. But pairing wise, man, it's tough.
I like the Militao. I like Rudiger because of his personality.
Yeah.
He's just crazy, and he can intimidate. And he had Haaland on locks last game, so he's the guy to do that.
Yeah, no, he was.
So yeah.
Okay, so I think I'll agree because I do kind of like the way that Pep has kind of played Stones this season. Inverted like midfield, center back hybrid position. Well, I'll go with Stones and Diaz, but it's close, man. It's close. All right, moving on to left back, which now City doesn't really have a traditional left back. They kind of play three center backs. But just for the sake of this comparison, I'm talking about Camavinga versus Ake. Who would you rather have on your team?
Camavinga for sure.
That's for you, right?
Yeah,
easy, right? I think Ake, though, with no disrespect to him, he's had a great season this year, but
for sure.
But
just the quality, the quality, man, and especially considering the age.
Different level because Camavinga is not even left back, and he's already said he hates being left back. But like, imagine you're playing a position you hate, but you still boss it. You know what I mean?
Facts, crazy one. So yeah, definitely.
He's free right there. Now our midfield is we're gonna go look at the midfield trios basically, right? Would you rather have the midfield trio of Silva, De Bruyne, Rodri, or the midfield trio of Modric, Kroos, Valverde?
Damn.
I'm saying current. Like don't think like all time. Think current.
Yeah. Fair enough. The thing is, when I look at this one, I look at Modric, and then when I look at this one, I think De Bruyne.
Yeah, like those are the centerpieces basically.
Yeah. I love De Bruyne, so like just him as a player, as a footballer. Then Modric, man, different, crazy. Damn, bro, that's a tough one. I think I'm gonna go for for me personally, I'd go for Modric, Kroos, Valverde because there's more of like that warrior like dynamic, Silva, De Bruyne, Rodri, it's super technical, very on point, but the Modric, Kroos, Valverde, I feel like that's what wins you games.
It does,
especially in the midfield.
They control the game, right? Especially when all three of those brothers are on point, they really do. Like they suffocate. That's like their style, like a really suffocating midfield style.
Exactly.
Whereas like the other three, they're really attacking mind, especially De Bruyne. Like they just want to push, right? Like some people, it's like, is De Bruyne even really that much of a midfielder as much as he's just like an attacker, right? But like, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. I think I'll go with Silva, De Bruyne, Rodri because I do like that. I prefer more attacking in my way. And if I'm saying current this season, I think I'll still go with them. And especially, man, Rodri's honestly like really criminally underrated.
Fox.
DM. Okay.
Fox.
So we have our opinions on that. Remember, guys, feel free to share in the comments who you guys would pick. But the next position we're gonna go with is our left wing. It's obviously Vinny versus Grealish. We just like, talked about the last 20 minutes. Yeah. That brother's going in free, right? It's not
for sure. Easy one.
It's not close. Even though Grealish has had a great season so far for Man City this year, and he's kind of shown why they spent 100 million on him. But Vinny is just Vinny, right? So.
Yeah, like no questions asked. It's like pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. Right wing, Rodrigo versus Mahrez. Who would you rather have on your team?
Mahrez. I don't know why. For me, just Mahrez. I feel like he's one of the most underrated players that the Premier League is going to see. Like when you look at, like, let's say 10, 20 years down the line, when you look back, I don't think Mahrez is going to get the credit that he deserves.
He already doesn't, right? Yeah.
He already doesn't. what he did with Leicester, what he did with City, like his first touch, man, crazy. He can finish, he can pass, he can dribble. He's so versatile. Rodrigo's crazy fast too, but for me, just Mahrez is I just like him. I enjoy him. I enjoy watching him. I feel like I would want him on my team. What do you think?
Fair. Yeah, I think overall, based on what I've seen from Rodrigo this season, I think that he will surpass Mahrez in terms of right winger, especially because I feel like Rodrigo would probably prefer to play on the left if it was him, but because obviously Vinny's there, he can't. But this season, Rodrigo's really come to his own now. But if the question is who I'd rather take right now, it's Mahrez, right? Like, I mean, again, criminally underrated. He's one of the best right wingers, I think, in Prem history, you could argue.
You remember the goal he scored against Madrid last season?
Yeah, right. Like,
wow.
Just
crazy.
He's unbelievable. I mean, he had a hat trick a couple weeks ago. Well, I think it was against Sheffield, but like still,
like he's always on the score sheet, you know. He's always involved. Always goals or assists.
Always.
Yeah, always.
Right. Yeah. So I think today, ask me a question, it's Mahrez. Yeah. So that, now, last position. One of the tougher ones, man. Striker, Benzema or Haaland. Who today would you rather have on your team?
Super tough because Haaland is he's just a robot. He's a machine. Like, buddy just scores goals. You know, that's his goal. That's his task. That's his job, and he fulfills his responsibility 110% and exceeds, if anything. But in terms of versatility, quality, you know, experience, Benzema, I feel like, can have a greater impact, especially when you look at the Champions League. Like, when you come up against Madrid, like as Real Madrid going against City, Benzema is more likely to show up than Haaland is to show up against Madrid. And I know this is the first, like there's more to see from that. But I would choose Benzema just because of the experience, the quality. The year he won Ballon d'Or, which was last season, like the way he played in the Champions League, even before that, like the season they beat Chelsea, Chelsea had beaten them that season. Last season when they beat Chelsea, like just the quality.
He's
unbelievable. Yeah. And again, as a Barcelona fan, Benzema is top striker. I think that Luis Suarez is the best number 9 in my opinion, but Benzema's up there 100%.
Yeah.
So which is Benzema.
Do you think Luis Suarez is the best number 9 of all time?
Best striker of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody scored goals like him.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Like he was something else, man.
Remember that back heel flick that he scored?
Yeah. No,
like nobody does that, man.
Yeah, exactly. He scored incredible goals. Like goals that get you off your seat. Now
bangers,
yeah. And the thing is, bro, is he won the Pichichi in a season where Messi and Ronaldo were both like, you know, active and basically in their prime. What was it, like 2015, was it? I think
it was either 15 or 16.
Yeah, like that season, that Suarez was just like, yeah, he put himself, and obviously he was amazing before, but
Suarez
established himself as one of the best. Yeah,
Suarez was the guy where when he was in front of the net, you just knew he was gonna finish.
Yeah, done. Yeah,
like it's crazy. It's a crazy feeling. Like as a fan. Like during that dynasty, like of like that short time of Suarez and Messi and Neymar, you know, the way they were playing, but throughout those years, even without Neymar, like when Suarez was in front of the goal, you just had this like peace of mind that he's gonna finish.
That's true, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, like you take a striker like Haaland, right? Haaland is basically, he's a goal scorer. Right? That's his game. He's got great positioning. He finishes. this game, right? Suarez creates his own opportunities. That's the difference. And even to a certain extent, Benzema is that kind of player, right?
True.
But nobody created their own opportunities the way Suarez did. He was absolutely insane. His dribbling was great. He had pace. Like he was. And he could shoot. He could score from outside the box. Like he was just absolutely insane player, right? That's why I would
crazy
in this scenario. That's why I would take Benzema over Haaland, because if I wanted a pure goal scorer, okay, I'd take Haaland, right? But because I look for like Benzema is more the complete package, just like how Suarez is more like a complete package of a striker. Benzema can do things that like Haaland can't, and it's just the reality, right? Obviously, Haaland's doing amazing, and he's in contention this year for the Ballon d'Or, right? But in terms of like who I would want on my team, I would want the more complete player, and that would be Benzema, right?
Like think about it like this: compare Haaland to Mbappe. Mbappe is a more complete player than Haaland.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I used to think that Haaland was better than Mbappe, but then when I saw what Mbappe did in the final, in the World Cup final, I'm like, I don't think Haaland has the capabilities of like showing up like that.
No, and I don't think he does, because like Mbappe is a big game player. Like he's shown that on multiple occasions, right? And we have yet to see that fully from Haaland, I would say. He has potential to do it.
He does.
Him, right? But I think before the World Cup, everyone was kind of on the Haaland train. Everyone was like basically saying this guy is better than Mbappe. World Cup comes around, Mbappe is basically, a lot of people consider him, even to this day, he's the better player, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's obviously like a different story. I think Mbappe is like leaving this PSG this summer. Man, that whole PSG project is about to get erupted, brother.
It's not looking good, to be honest. It's not looking good, no. Especially with Messi leaving now, and like there's some tension with the fans, and Mbappe he had signed that contract. It complicates a lot of things.
So how about this? How about that will be today's question of the day. Before we go into AC Milan and Inter Milan, that'll be our question of the day today. Where do you want to see that trio go next season? Messi, Neymar, Mbappe.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, like where would you like to see them as like just a neutral? Let's say. Obviously, you can be biased for Messi. I get that, but
like Messi. Obviously, I want him to go back to Barcelona. Neymar, man, I don't give a shit what that guy does. Like, you know what I mean? I just ever since he left, I enjoy watching him, but I just don't care about him. You know what I mean? And then Mbappe. You can't rule out him going to Madrid.
True.
Because when Benzema leaves and you need a striker, Madrid will pay the 200 mil for Mbappe, because Mbappe's proven that he's worth that much money.
True. Easily.
So I do see a downfall for PSG, because those front three are going to leave, but actually it's not necessarily a downfall, because maybe that's better for the club, because it's been basically a circus in that club.
It's a circus,
so yeah, that's what I think.
It's the perfect example of how you can't just grab amazing players, put them on a team, and expect it to go well. It's just not how it happens. It doesn't work in basketball. It's never worked in basketball. It doesn't work in soccer or football. Sorry, I don't know. I think I offended maybe a couple of people out there. It doesn't work in teams need to be built with heart, with thoughtful processes in mind. Just combining the best players in every position is not going to create a best team. And also, there has to be passion. I never felt Messi had that much passion for PSG, even though he played great. Like, let's be honest, this season he's been great. Don't get me wrong, right? But he's clearly not passionate for the club. Neymar doesn't seem that passionate for the club. Mbappe has the passion for the club, but I think Mbappe would have even more passion, honestly, as blasphemous as this might sound to French fans. I think he'd have even more passion for Real Madrid, because that's his like childhood team. Like, he always wanted to play for Madrid, right?
Yeah.
So now Neymar, and I think this is like the easy cop-out answer. I want to see that brother play in the Premier League, because it's the league I watch the most. He's my favorite player. Like, I love Neymar, so I want to see him in the Premier League. Now, Messi, I want to see him back at Barca. Nobody does. But it's not looking good, man. I don't know. They keep like.
Imagine Messi goes to the Prem.
Messi goes to the Prem. The only
That's
thing
crazy.
that can take him is City, right?
Yeah, but like, just if that were to happen,
I would love that.
that would be crazy, bro.
Scenes in the Premier League next season. That would be the watched league. No question. No.
It already is, but it was just.
But like,
it's like, damn, that would be crazy. Imagine Ronaldo was still with Man U.
Man, that would be crazy.
Because technically, he could have been with them right now.
You could, right?
And he could have played an extra season with them, technically speaking.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Bro, imagine the scenario like they all like, cause I know they're just rumors, but like imagine a scenario where like Ronaldo's not happy in Saudi, he wants to get loaned out, he gets loaned out to a Premier League team, Messi goes to the Premier League, Neymar goes to the Premier League, bro. Crazy.
Like I would never understand it, but like let's say I was Messi, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I would want to go to a. It doesn't have to necessarily be like a Man City or Liverpool team, but you know, like joining an Arsenal team, for example, or like Newcastle, like Ronaldo joining Newcastle. Let's say, like that would be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they weren't to start every game, it's just like their end of their career challenge. Like,
no, it would,
I don't know, that would be fun, man.
crazy.
Like that would be fun to watch.
It would be so much fun. And honestly, if football wasn't about money and profit and just about passion and fun, this would be the obviously the thing that would happen. But it's unfortunately not like that. Obviously, we would all love to see that, but it's just not. But
you could also see Messi go to the Saudi league, and then you it's like,
don't, bro. That's my like biggest fear, man. Because when Ronaldo did that, I'm a Ronaldo fan, bro. But when Ronaldo card dropped, I was so upset because I'm like, I loved watching Ronaldo, even though he played for Man United. I loved watching Ronaldo, you know.
Yeah.
But and when he left, it was so disheartening for me because I'm like, I don't even today. I don't watch the Saudi league. I won't ever watch the Saudi league, to be honest. I don't care. Like, I don't know who's a player. I don't care if Mo Salah goes to the Saudi league. You know, I'm not gonna watch them, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Like, bro, you don't even watch League One realistically.
I don't really. I don't. I only watched League One. I watched League One up until Neymar got injured, and then I didn't care. You know.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Now, Messi going to the Saudi League, man, that would be tough. I think that'll spell, I don't want to say the end of his career, but it'll basically be wraps. Like, I feel like maybe he'll have like a small stint at Barca just to end it, like a little bit of a like farewell tour kind of thing. But
no, that would be the end of it, especially if like Barca's playing Champions League next season, and I feel like Messi still has it in him, man. Like he can win another trophy or two. So if he goes to Saudi, it'll be good for the country, it'll be good for the league, it'll be good for the Middle East.
It will be, yeah, fair.
It will be excellent for the Middle East, especially with like the World Cup project and all that. Just European football is just it's incomparable, right? So like the competition, it's the best in the world. So
the best, and he wants to play in Europe, right? He has the Messi's the kind of player that could play in Europe until he's 40 because his natural talent and the way that he plays football doesn't really deteriorate with age like it did with Ronaldo. Even though
he's just that guy.
He played like basically amazing football until like age of 38, right?
I'm glad that you're saying that as a Ronaldo fan because there's a lot of delusional Ronaldo fans that refuse to accept that. It's like when his contract was terminated with Man U, who the hell is going to want this guy on their team? Who? There was absolutely nobody.
Yeah.
Bro, nobody wanted this guy. Think about it. Not Porto, not Sporting, not whoever, Portuguese team, no regular EPL team. Like, nobody wanted this guy because he didn't fit anywhere.
Yeah, his wages were too high.
His wages were too high, and he started creating drama.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been avoided what happened. And I feel like he's paying the price. But again, like there's a lot of things that we don't understand, right? Like we don't know.
The scenes, you know?
Exactly.
There are facts. Listen, there are facts, right? Like obviously I prefer Ronaldo over Messi, and that's never been a doubt because I feel like Ronaldo's kind of like the family player. Like everyone in my family loves Ronaldo, right? But I'm one of those guys who also appreciates GOATs for whatever they are. You know, I can appreciate Messi while appreciating Ronaldo at the same time. I just love good footballers, you know, like that's just me, right?
I agree, bro. I agree.
You know, But
I love Ronaldo, as a footballer,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like I love watching him play with Man U when he played with Man U, like such entertaining football.
Fox.
Just electric. His personality is
And like he obviously they in some ways him leaving was better off for the team because he was creating a bit of a divide, I would say. But his talents and his contributions to football cannot be denied. Now, is Messi the best player to ever play football? He is. It's an undeniable fact. Like, you know, even people could have a very strong argument even before the World Cup. The World Cup really just sealed it for the brother.
It sealed it. Yeah. Sealed it, right? Thankfully.
You know, but Ronaldo is no doubt number 2 of all time, and I don't think that and the fact that some people discredit him for that, I think it's unfair to him, you know. But
no, I agree.
Ronaldo, man, that's a whole topic. That's gonna be a whole separate video. You know, we're gonna talk about AC Milan versus Inter Milan. We had a chance to watch it. That was yesterday.
I did.
I was at work and I was able to sneak it on my phone on the zone, but. What's it called? That game was heavily skewed in Inter Milan's favor in the beginning, at least. Very surprising way, I would say, because first of all, before you start the game, you got Rafael Leao called in injured. He's not playing. That's a big hit for AC Milan. That's their of course. Basically star.
That's their guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's their guy. He's injured. It's already a lot looking good for the brothers, right? But then the way that they played was just even shocking to me because I would say that AC Milan against Napoli, their bread and butter was their defending. Now, but you've got brothers like Dzeko and Mkhitaryan just penetrating the defense like nothing. You know what I mean? Inter Milan goes up 2 in the first 11 minutes, and AC Milan had a lot of chances, right? They did. Score, and even Inter Milan had a lot of chances to even go higher up. They just couldn't. Hence 2-0 going into the next leg. We don't know what's going to happen. So, but what are your thoughts on the game overall?
Milan derby, excellent game. Entertaining-wise, very entertaining. Entertainment-wise, very entertaining, and back and forth. It's unfortunate that they conceded those 2 early goals because they did show spirit to put themselves back in the game. They had a couple chances to score goals. But when you look at the stats, Inter Milan is the most defensive team in the Champions League this season. They have the most tackles, they have the most saves, they have the most clean sheets, tied with Bayern. But so I think that Inter Milan is going to go all the way. Also, when you look at the depth of the squad, there's a lot more experience. Like Dzeko and Mkhitaryan, these are all experienced players. So I always thought Inter Milan would take it. And then in the final, whoever, let's say Inter Milan makes it to the final, I don't think they're an easy win. No. You know what I mean? No. They could technically they have the chance to win, and that would be crazy to see.
That would be so crazy. That would be so crazy, man, because I feel like that side of the bracket has already been written off since like it was created. Because it's all those big powerhouses. You got the Bayern, you got the Man City, you got the Real Madrid on that other side, right? Nobody really gave these brothers a chance. Now, a lot of people did, like myself, thought Napoli was really going to go through because of their success in Serie A this season. Even they, it was unfortunate they had some injuries. They couldn't really cut it, right? That's another thing where I think that whatever team ends up making it through from that other side, do not discredit these guys. Do not take them lightly, because these guys are ready to fight. They're both strong defensively. Got really great keepers in net. Onana had a great game, right? Even Magnan in that second half was making some pretty great saves. So. Overall, don't whatever team makes it through from Real and Man City, don't discredit these guys. They're gonna fight. They're gonna play. Yeah. Now, do you think AC Milan has what it takes? Let's say Real. Let's say Leao comes back. Do you think AC Milan has what it takes to win? To score 3?
It's possible, man. Yeah. It's possible, but I just don't think they'll do it. I think it's destined for Inter Milan to do it and to go all the way. And when you look at the depth of the squad, don't take Romelu Lukaku with ease, for example. When this guy replaces Dzeko, he's coming in and he's
dangerous.
He's maybe even more dangerous. Because this guy's fresh and he's a beast, you know? Regardless of previous performances, when you look at him as a player, he's a beast, man, you know what I mean? Physically, he can finish, he's fast, you know? You have Çalhanoğlu, you have Lautaro Martinez, you have Correa. Like, these are guys that just came from the World Cup. You have Brozovic, Croatian, played in the World Cup final, semi-final. Like, there's so much more quality in the Inter Milan team and experience in the Inter Milan team than the AC Milan team. But credit to AC Milan for making it this far, because nobody saw this coming.
No, I agree.
You know?
You're exactly right, and I think given the nature of Italian football in general, because it's more defensive, it's really hard for me to imagine like 3 goals being scored by AC Milan. You know what I mean? So
like statistically, like looking at the stats, they have the most tackles, they have the most clean sheets, they're the best defensive team in the season, Champions League campaign this season, and again, that can win them the title.
Yeah. It can. Defense wins titles, man, because you score 1 goal and you just lock up, park the bus. You never know what can happen, right, man? This is honestly shaping. I think that a lot of people need to really give these guys credit, really be ready for some scenes in the final. I don't think it's going to be a wash. I'm really excited for next week's second leg of the Champions League semifinal. Let us know who you guys got in the comments. That is going to wrap us up for this week's podcast. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about who we would keep and sell for Man United. We talked about a would you rather between Real Madrid and Man City players, and we also gave our Premier League and Champions League roundup. And we also asked a question of the day today. We asked, where would you want to see Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi go next season? Let us know what you guys think. This has been Hamad. If you want to shout out your IG, Hamad, go ahead right now. Let us know where we can find you.
Sure, MELCH099. That's my university school email. And I just stuck to it. But yeah, if you guys want to follow me on IG, and looking forward to maybe hopping on the on other podcasts here.
Yeah, brother, you know, honestly, we loved you. I mean, I loved you. I hope everybody who was watching loved you. You have a lot of insight. We appreciate you. And when Brahim comes back, and even when Brahim's not here, expect to see Muhammad, if he wants to, of course. We know we're not gonna. But if he wants to, if he's enjoyed it, we're gonna have Muhammad back, and hopefully he can keep on, you know, contributing his good thoughts and good expertise on the subject. But yeah, that's been our stream for today. We're gonna be uploading this on YouTube. If you guys don't remember this brother's link, we're gonna link it in the description, so you guys will always have that. And then yeah, we'll see you guys next week, hopefully.
All right, thank you. Peace.
Bye bye.
Take care.